All right, we're good. So this is the January 29th meeting of the Historic Commission and the Historic District Commission. And the meeting is being recorded for open meeting law purposes.
Okay. I guess we'll jump to the agenda, right?
Yeah, I know.
Because that's here,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think we have any minutes. I think we voted on everything. I think we've approved. I know I put it on the agenda. I
Okay.
think,
Didn't we go through those the last time we met?
hang on, I actually might know historic because I did clean up that. Commission, minutes, date.
So sad.
What's in the agenda? 519 and 99. I have 519 and 99. These have, did we vote on these?
That's for the commission,
Not approved. So maybe, so
because the district has a 519, but we don't have a 99 for.
I have commission minutes, so I don't know if we probably didn't vote on them. And then I have district minutes. What's on the list?
We've got, for district, we have April 29th, May 20th. These are going in 2024, actually.
519 and
519 is 25,
and then do I have 519 we voted at 6-4.
right? That's what I thought.
So district is caught up.
Okay.
So then it's just if you want to vote on these, do you want me to try and print these or share them on the screen? They're tiny.
Today's today 29th. Handwrite some.
Let's see if I can put these in the.
Because who's on the
I know it's Kathy and Karen.
Okay, I'll just try and record what I can.
We'll have to recap, so.
Right? We do that now, right?
Yeah, you just had to. That's, I've been sending those to Kristen.
Okay.
Really?
Is it like an AI recap?
Yeah, I have the teams. Created. What if I want to attach a file in the chat? Is that not an option?
It should be. I don't use Teams as much, but you should be able to attach files.
Actions and apps. And I have all this garbage. I don't want apps, I want to, all right, well, that's.
Isn't there like this little guy right there in the end?
Yeah, no, that's text. It's probably somewhere else. So.
Oh, well.
So that's, I could try and print these too, but it's gonna take a while here.
You can always.
This is 5925.
So everybody on the call, you guys, so I think this is for the commission, right? So you
This
just
is the
want them,
commission.
yeah, so just have them kind of review that.
Let me know when you want me to scroll.
Can you scroll?
All right. Is everyone good with the minutes from whatever that was?
519.
Hang on, I think that was 99.
That was.
So that's 9925, and then this is the minutes from 519. This is the. Oh, this is historic. I'm confused then. Did we vote these? Maybe I didn't. This is such a pain trying to keep track of both of these. 9-9 draft. Commissions, old business. These are Kathy's minutes, I think, from the district, the historic commission.
Dan, does it, the last minutes that we have for the commission, does it state whether or not we voted to approve the
That's-
minutes?
When I was looking, we didn't vote on any minutes at 9-9.
We didn't, okay.
No,
And what about October?
I have no files for October.
Did we even meet in October?
I don't remember. Historic. No, we were supposed to meet in November and we didn't.
Okay, so we didn't meet in October, but, and we canceled November.
I don't see any posting for October.
Okay,
I mean-
all right, and
I
then our
think-
December meeting, we met, but we didn't have a quorum. There was just like 3 of us.
Yeah, let me double check historic commission, but I don't believe,
I don't know if this is wrong, but in my calendar, I have district and commission meeting the November 25th.
yeah, that was canceled on the website.
That was canceled.
Historic
Okay.
commission, 25. Yeah, 9-9 is the last meeting we've had. That was at least the last meeting that needs minutes approved, because it was a public meeting that happened. And then, sorry, let me scroll the rest of this. And then I think I have a separate set of minutes from this meeting for the district commission from Christina. That's what this is.
Okay.
I started going through these to get everything current on the website, but then everything else came up.
Like,
Because we're trying to update the new website with all the meeting minutes from the old website, and it's a whole, for the whole town. I have this file, which is also 9-9. It's commissions. And that's the end. So I think, are we good with the 2 sets of historic commission minutes from May and September?
Yes.
Are you guys okay with them?
Yep,
Yeah, Dan, that's Nick Valori with a V. not
Oh, hang on. Which one is that? Oh, man.
right here. B.
Let me spell this name, hang on. Julian, Valorie. Valorie. Yeah, is it anywhere else? Okay,
This is the district meeting minutes.
commission.
It's the commission, okay.
yeah, and then I have a separate set of minutes from September 9th from the Historic District Commission that I think Christina did. I think that's this file, which is pretty much the same as the other one because it was joint.
Right.
Yeah, no new minutes for approval. The discussion on solar, the discussion on Civil War,
Okay.
and then I think we talked about signage,
Mhm.
and that was it. Okay.
So do we make a motion
I
to
think-
approve the minutes?
Yeah, so it'd be a motion from the commission to approve the minutes of the 19th and the 9th.
519?
Yeah,
519,
and 9-9.
okay. I'll make a motion to approve the historic commission minutes from 519:25 and 9/9/25.
Second,
So then all in favor?
Aye.
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 And then another motion for the 9/9 minutes from the Historic District Commission.
Make a motion to approve the 9/9/25 minutes from the Historic District Commission.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I
Aye.
think these 2024 ones on the, I put them on as placeholders. There's some really old ones that
Yeah.
are still, but some of them may not exist from the recordings. I know there were a few way in the beginning that we just are never gonna have. I'll double check what we've got now. I think going forward, we're doing them, so.
Mhm.
um, All right, so then I did annual reports for the two boards, which I can put up on the screen. I just wasn't really, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to include. I figured I included just a summary of permits. In the historic district. So this is all, I left this all as last year, just a summary of the 4 districts, summary of the district, link to the design guidelines. And then it just says in 2025, we have 3 hearings, 3 certificates. There were 13 other permits that were reviewed and didn't have a hearing. And I think this little blurb is the same as it was last year. And then I listed the three certificates along with their details. I put all that giant block of conditions for 14 Maple. And then I listed out, I went through all the permits, which were pretty much all solar roofs and the air conditioner, heat pump. And that's it for that. Is this correct for everybody's names and stuff? I'm assuming it is because I was from last year.
So I don't see anybody on there. Did you say,
I left her on because she was there, Hazel, but
okay,
if you want it, Debbie is good.
That's fine.
Or, yeah. And then, because of the report for perpetuity. And then I had, you know what though, like for the 350 and stuff, we went back and looked at those. So they do eventually might get looked at.
Really? We should change it to Devin.
are you an AH?
No, I'm a DBRA.
WDEBRA?
Yeah. Or distinguish myself from Devin.
Just DEBRA.
Yep, just DBRA.
Yeah, that's how some people spell
My mother called it the modern spelling.
Really?
And then the commission, I didn't have much. We had one demolition delay review, which I listed, which was that barn at Blackstone Street. And then I put in this little bit about Civil War, which reminded me that still in limbo and I've heard nothing about that.
Oh, yeah.
So I should probably understand what's going on. So I don't know if there was anything else to add here or whatever. I mean, it doesn't need to be anything great.
Yeah, I honestly can't think of anything that, isn't that awful? Talk about a nightmare of a year. It was all records room.
Yeah, it was pretty much finishing all that up, and then in 2024, I think we had a big thing that explained that whole project. So
Yeah.
that's documented now. So if everybody's good with those, I will submit them. I don't think we need to vote on them, but I guess
Yeah, they look good.
they're off the plate.
Yep, I'm
Um,
good
Thank
with
you.
that. Yeah, thank you,
First.
Dan, for doing those.
No problem. For historic district, there's really nothing, no new applications. He did his solar on a driveway, which doesn't affect us. That's about it. And so then that leaves the historic commission and then both commissions. So I think the record room, I don't have much. I did talk to Brennan like a couple weeks ago. Because he wanted to, they sent through some reference check for something, he wanted to make sure we got it. I think we just need to follow up with him and get him back out to do the flooring. I believe we have the approval and all that from Jeremy. It's just a matter of getting them in there, and at this point now the building is snowed in. I actually went today and double checked and shoveled out both condenser units at the buildings. They weren't bad, but I figured it was because I did the town hall once. And then I think Kathy had something to bring up that I think would fall under 48 hours. So I guess if we want to talk about that on Cape Road. Yeah, Kathy,
The tear down.
yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I'm
Oh.
having a dog issue. I'll be right there.
All right, well then, I guess to skip over to, and then for the budget, I just put in the same level funding, so it's 500 for district for postage, 500 for commission for postage, and then another 3,000 for historic commission. I mean, we're not spending it, so I don't think we can ask for more. We need to get the sign in the front of the library. That's been on the list for a while.
I mean,
That's
couldn't
fine.
you guys just like, I don't know, if you're not spending it, it can just roll over and you
No.
can take another 3, so you have to spend it.
If we don't spend it, it goes away, it goes back to general fund.
So have you spent it all this year,
Not yet, so we have until June 30th.
June 30th?
I mean, I know, like, we talked about powder post beetle treatment at Only Cook. So that's something, that'll be a couple $100, we should do that in the spring. I think that's the kind of stuff that money is for, is these small kind of maintenance things. And then I think in terms of signage, that needs to be a separate request for special, an amount of money to be in a special account for a project if we want to do historic district signage.
Mhm.
I think that should be outside of our general budget expenses. I do think we probably would need to submit a request for that within the next month or two if we're going to do something for this town meeting
For the
in
signage,
terms of signage.
right?
I don't
So
think
need to come up with something.
they've announced town meeting yet, but they will. So my guess is the deadline will be in March for articles.
So something prior to March.
Um,
Does anybody have any idea as to the location of said signage?
CPA won't pay for some, can't pay, I should say.
I thought, Dan, I thought CPA couldn't pay.
No, it can't.
It
Yeah.
can't. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's
So
not-
it-
Sorry, go ahead.
So we need to ask the town to appropriate funds to do the district signage.
Yeah, I think we should come up with, we need to have a proof of what it's gonna look like, where they're gonna go, and what they're gonna cost. And I think going to them with a request for like $5,000 or $10,000, I don't think is a big deal. We just have to have all the paperwork backup on it.
Right, right. So if we were to just do a quick brainstorm, where would the district signs be located? What do you think are the most appropriate locations?
Looking at the map. I mean, and I think we're thinking more permanent signs, not,
What about right now in Founder's Park, there's that Lions sign.
right,
What if that was just like somehow like, I hope I'm not offending anybody, but what if that was replaced with something Mendon historic signage, and then there's still some sort of spot in the
So-
pylon to add, like, or leave that and do so, I'm just thinking like, 'cause
Yeah.
when you pull into like that area, that's what everybody's looking at, right? So I think it'd be nice to have some sort of Mendon historic district sign there.
yeah, I would do, so I think the lines, I would do a sign here, and we also can't really put signs on 16 without a lot of complication.
Exactly, and
But if we
then
did
there's
one
the
at the
whole,
top of North Ave somewhere, that might be an option, somewhere turning onto Main Street,
yeah,
I think,
so the top of North Ave, so nothing, you don't
Yeah.
think of putting anything in Founder's Park?
we could, I think that's fine, I would leave the lion sign alone, I think there's a whole can of worms.
Okay,
there.
so leave the lion sign, but
It's a whole
then,
different discussion.
so
that's
you
gonna
think
happen.
on the corner, like, North Ave and Route
I think you should look
16?
at the,
Cause that's not technically the,
yeah, so we did the same thing with the
District
beach,
right
we put a sign at Taft Ave that's
Okay.
kind of on 16, but it's on Taft Ave. I think you'd wanna do it at the entrance to the districts.
okay,
So like if you did it somewhere, so you did one on Founder's Park somewhere,
Yeah,
did one maybe down on the other side here near Old Town Center.
I just think it's gonna look weird if it's competing with the Lions Club sign. Do you know what I mean? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know, I mean, that Lions,
I'm not saying to replace
So,
it, I guess, I just
I mean,
didn't
the
know how you're
Lions
gonna
Club
put.
sign is at the end of its life for sure, but I also think having a message board sign on a public park with content.
It's
is a
important,
massive- No, it's a massive potential First Amendment problem, and
really.
it's a huge can of worms, and I think it's one of those just, it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I think it's great.
The problem is, no, it's
Yeah,
wonderful, the
town
problem
news.
is if it's on town property, it's all or nothing. So we
Okay.
cannot refuse any request to put it up, because now we violated your free speech.
Okay,
And so I actually reached out to Medway to ask them for some information on their policies, because they have a big sign, because I'm
Is
curious
there electronic
how they've
sign?
handled it.
Yeah.
Like, can it be town events only?
Hmm.
I don't know.
because it's on town
Right.
land.
So if, Joe's Plumbing Service wants us to advertise for them, and we say, no, we violated their free speech, because we've created a public forum and prevented somebody from using it.
Oh, that's great to know, I'm not,
I know,
I'm just
it's-
kidding.
It's just one of those, it's very tricky, I think. But yeah, so I don't know, you maybe wouldn't want, but you could put something like maybe here, back up. Sorry, let me screen share, we're looking at
Yeah,
Yeah,
you.
so maybe near the Sacred Grounds sign. Kind of in the middle of the park on Main.
Well, there's this, and we bought a new sign to put up, and I actually bought the brackets for it to go on this post here.
Mhm.
Right,
So we could put something else in this vicinity maybe. On this median strip. I don't know.
I mean, you could, I just think that it'd be nice where it's like something that says entering historic district up at the top. You know what I mean, like where people are leaving, the schools are coming in, like
Yeah.
something like over there. Entering historic district, like
I don't know,
Mendon's
it's-
historic districts,
Could
circa. blah,
we
blah, blah,
potentially
blah.
add something to this sign?
Well, that's what I'm saying, maybe this,
I mean, Kathy, where did this sign come from? The
now,
Hilltop Village.
I believe that the Blackstone Heritage Corridor created and donated those signs.
Could we do like an extension onto it? Would that
I don't
be
see why not.
too much?
I think that if we're gonna do a sign, it shouldn't be like a vinyl sign, it should be
Yeah.
like a actual
I wish I could find
Yeah.
one.
historic representation of,
Yeah,
It should probably be similar to the one that is in the grass bed near the museum, the first settlers sign.
which, the
I mean,
Tercentennial
that's the
sign.
caliber. I think that's the caliber that we probably should look.
I took a picture of it because that's another project to look at, is restoring those signs.
maybe do it all at the same time.
These signs are thousands of dollars though. If I can share this, maybe I can do it on my phone.
Well, present it, and if the town says no, then you go back to the drawing board.
Yeah,
If you give me a second, I'll pull it up, or let me just do this. This, is this still screen sharing? This sign, it doesn't say this, but it's in Founder's Park in those bushes, Kathy.
right.
So something like that.
did 'em
like
all.
Polished up.
In the 30s. So there was a company an email went through of a company that repaints these, and we were thinking that might be another thing to ask for some funds to clean this one up. There's one in the center of,
So they're gonna go in and paint it, like how would you, what material is it
it's
like?
metal, it's cast signs, they take
Cast.
it down, sandblast it, and repaint it.
Oh, nice, so they're gonna restore that, so
'Cause there's-
then,
This sign too, that
yes.
we need to figure out, and Pete from Highway thinks there's another one somewhere, sorry, I'm trying to get it to center on the stupid thing. Oh, this thing.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
So this island is going away,
Oh,
So
So it'd be nice to preserve that.
that's one of the questions of the state, where this is gonna go, but have this cleaned up.
Yeah, I think that would be so cute.
But so would we want another one of those metal signs, or is that too much? And to your point of having 5 signs.
You know what?
there?
I don't care. I think it needs something. And I think that if anything, maybe it inspires the Lions Club to do something about that sign.
Well, I don't, they are, it's just, they patched it up, they painted it, but it's,
Yeah.
as I told somebody else, it's being held together with thoughts and prayers. It's like,
Yeah.
if you
Or
touch
hopes
it, it's
and
doing
dreams.
this,
So sorry, yeah.
it's
Somehow.
really, it's sketchy.
It's still there.
Let's say Mendon community events on it,
Yeah.
not Joe's Plumbing events,
So,
Yeah.
so.
I mean, I love that. I think it's super helpful
Oh,
for
it
a lot
is,
of
isn't it?
people and then,
It's
you
like,
know,
oh, town
what's
meeting's
going on.
coming.
Yeah.
Misco did a light up sign,
I don't wanna light up.
wasn't a
sign
lot
there.
of money,
It wasn't?
no,
I
it was $20,000, but.
Oh.
I think that it's Founder's Park
Should
and I
be.
think that's tacky and I think I don't think we need to have a light up sign there. If the schools wanna have one, great, but I mean, I guess it's a pain in the butt for whoever has to swap out the letters and stuff. Is that you, Dan?
No, Mark,
Okay.
So if you did something there, I think,
You'll be able to see it though, driving by, whatever it
I don't know
is.
if we want something going down Maple Street somewhere. Again, this is all getting, and some of this, we may want to wait on this until this project is done,
Can the town buy that little house?
because I don't know what this is all gonna look like. I don't think it
Like the Carlson house?
has no value, because it has no water and sewer, and no space to do it. It's funny, so I met with John and Sue Tatro to talk about this, and Sue brought up like all the same things that Hazel said about this area, and it's like, you two need to talk.
I know, right?
Um,
That just must be noisy.
But you have like, this area entering Maple Street, I think, is a location. And then somewhere down here, this will
At the
cooperate,
bottom, yeah.
like coming up on the cemetery somewhere.
Mhm.
Maybe on this corner, it can be done without blocking traffic.
That's a tricky spot, cause
That's
it's
a busy
really hard to pull out there. You're-
Yeah, that's a good point. It is.
I would think it would need to be on the cemetery property,
And-
Yeah.
yeah.
that, and I don't know how,
And then Washington Street, I think, that definitely needs something to, like when you turn on Washington.
Right.
yes.
And can they not be on private properties?
My understanding is there's a certain amount of public right of way where a sign can go, and that depends on every area.
Doesn't the town have like a right,
It's-
a
yeah,
right
it
of way, like
depends on
5 feet in or something like that?
It's
Right?
whatever the width of the road is.
Oh, okay,
Basically, we would need to identify every location and then bring every single one of them probably to John and confirm that every one of those is viable. My guess is the people that are funding this are going to want a specific list of exactly where each sign is going, what it's gonna look like,
Right.
because those are all the type of questions that FinCom's gonna wanna know about.
do we like go put like an orange stake in and take a picture of it, basically?
I think we can do it electronically, but I
Okay.
think, we'd want a proof of a sign
Okay,
and like literally a screenshot with a big red circle saying sign goes here.
yeah,
Cause then what else is there? I had the map. It's just those, and then it's Jane's house and Bay Street.
Okay, so 40 Millville.
40 and Sandra, 6. But those have circa signs on the houses, right?
Yes, that's a good question. I am not sure.
Maybe we should.
do like a little plaque or something. if they
It'd be
don't
nice to have a
something,
plaque.
So like give them
For
plaque to put on the houses.
for those, like something a little more substantial, because it's a
Mm.
historic district. Where is it? Her house, it's over here. Sorry.
I mean, in theory, we could also put one up at the library.
She has one.
Mm. Yeah,
Well, that's the question of the sign, and that's why I haven't done anything with the sign for the Union Chapel, is because I don't, we need to figure out what's gonna say, it's just gonna say circa 8, 9, whatever the date is? Or is it, should
No.
it say in chapel or something a little more substantial?
Yeah, so I did a narrative, I mean, we looked at it a long time ago. It must have been over a year ago. But I have a narrative that matches the one that's on the town hall.
I mean, I
Similar
think
to,
that would be cool to do this on the front of
Mhm.
the library as well, or maybe not quite as substantial. But just a plaque with it, if there's a nicer historic picture that could go with it.
right, right,
We just need to figure out what it is and get a price.
yeah.
I mean, if we
because,
have,
that was
Okay.
donated to us.
yeah, and there's a granite sign inside.
Yes, there is.
Um,
Inside the building there is?
Yeah, right inside, it says in memory, like, dedicated to Rosa Taft.
Is it,
It's like mounted on the wall
no,
inside.
I'm gonna say we can put it outside.
So we just need to figure out the context of the sign and then have it installed out. Content, I mean.
So what specific, so you'd have to we'd have to come up with a list and say, okay, these specific buildings, we're looking for plaques. These specific locations, we're looking for signs, and just
Yeah.
sort of break it down.
I mean, I think those tercentenary, whatever signs, those are probably $3,000 to $5,000 a piece without installation. Because I know that the plaque we did at the park playground, that was like $2,000 for a cast bronze plaque, almost 15 years ago.
So maybe we just try and focus on, skip the plaques for now, come back to that, right?
Yeah.
And then focus on just something in Founder's Park, and then maybe something either at the top or in the cemetery location for now.
We had proofs of signs, why can't I see my?
It was so long ago. I think I was emailing
I might have
Science
pictures.
Plus.
Give me a
Yeah,
second.
if we can dig those up, that would be great. And we
I think
can
I-
just kind of,
My outlook is frozen. Here we go. We did something similar for the Upton. This is the Upton sign. I think it doesn't have that's
You're
right.
looking
Didn't have a freaking, I found this email. Here we go.
Yeah.
I found it. Stop sharing.
But yeah, these are the ones I sent.
These are the ones, and
I think I was just sending her examples.
I think I remember, we couldn't find the Upton one. It's on the side of the road. I think it's kind of similar to this
I like that.
Harvard one. This price, let me see what this is. This was cast aluminum plaque, Upton Center District, was like $1,300 a piece for a 2 by 2.5 foot.
But that was, you gotta remember, this was like 2020, when was this email? Cause like the cost of materials had gone up substantially.
I don't think I had a picture of the Upton sign. We have to ask her to send us the proof of it.
Is it up right now, the Upton one?
I went looking on it in Street View and I couldn't find it. I found it years ago. If you want it, I can try again. I don't even remember where it was. It was somewhere in the Upton Center. Stop this. Because that might be a potential option. I mean, it'd be easier to get a couple of the same sign and just call it a day.
That's what I'm thinking, just maybe like 2 of the same one, and then do like plaques or something like that another year. Or like building locations.
Yeah. Well, the circus signs, I mean, like, those are simple. We should, so she doesn't have one.
But like an elaborate library one, like if that's
Yeah.
gonna add too much and you think that we're just gonna get a flat out rejection, then.
I don't think I think somebody's gotta figure out the design of it and what we want and then ask for proof. That's the problem. I wanna say it was down this way. Where's Upton's historic district? doesn't look like.
I haven't even noticed the sign. I'm getting migraine looking at it.
I stopped screen sharing. I didn't like everybody
I
see.
like, what's the Pleasant Street one? Is that Arlington? Is that what it said? I was getting a headache trying to see.
Those
Oh,
were, yeah, that was the one, it was like Pleasant Street, it's like a hanging,
Yeah.
it's,
Sign.
that one was in Arlington.
Oh, yeah, it's an Arlington, that's a nice one.
Yeah, they may have updated their
Noticed,
site
yeah.
to put a picture on it.
I'm just, oh, look at the, Upton website.
That's
Or,
what I'm,
Yeah, I'm
website.
looking.
This-
Just see,
I'm not really impressed.
is it on their website somewhere?
Let's see, where did it's on Yelp.
Oh, you found. Just
I think I
opted
like
on?
the hanging one better.
Wyoming's pretty proud of themselves.
Mhm. Probably not in the right Upton.
Yeah, and I just did a search for Upton Historic District sign.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
It's
The green one?
green and, yeah,
Let's go to.
it's all right. I like the other one
Uh,
better.
There we go, that's the sign that
It's
they
not
paid
special.
for.
It's not special at all.
Oh,
It's not very vanilla.
Yeah, I
Very
agree.
very easy to miss.
I would love, yeah, agree. I would love to just like, and the steel posts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If it means spending a little bit more and maybe not putting up,
Well, I think we need to get pricing.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even. I don't know.
yeah, I don't like the green and white. It's like very like is this a sign for Denton Regional High School or is this a sign?
that was my
for
first thought when I
historic
saw
district?
it.
I mean,
You know, here I just
It is
did
different
historic
colors.
district signs. So like this one.
yeah, that's the Arlington, Mass one. That one's
one of these
cute.
ones, so it's like a,
I like it.
It's black, it's,
probably, I mean, this is probably cheap because it probably can be,
this is just a
Basically plastic,
wooden one,
like,
I think,
printed,
or,
yeah.
yeah. But I don't want to do.
I mean, I'd say anything that's metal is gonna be, that's not just a printed road sign, is probably gonna be a couple thousand.
I understand that. I just think that I think we should try and see if we can,
And how many locations were we thinking of? So if you did one, somewhere on the north, somewhere entering by Founder's Park,
yeah.
somewhere at Maple Street, that's 2, Washington Street is 3.
I don't know that you need to do that type of sign in 3 locations. I think
Okay.
having one sign in Founder's Park is key. I think that you could put maybe something a little bit less substantial, but still nice looking,
Yeah.
like the Arlington sign on, Washington and the top of Maple. Or like the cemetery, I'm not sure, but I think having one really nice sign, I think that would be important, but I don't think that you need like 5 $3,000 signs.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you guys think, but that's just my feeling on the matter.
We could also put up,
It's a small
signs on the
district.
telephone poles. I know
Yeah.
the brothers had their program, but if we went and we said, we want these 4 poles that are gonna have district signs on them, I think there's plenty of telephone poles. I mean, I know, and if
Man,
anyone,
this is Mother Mendon.
if anyone here hasn't heard, they are doing their new, veteran signs are gonna have pictures on them. For this year.
Aw.
I think that's the new plan, so that'll be.
Is that like a yearly deal people pay
It's
annually?
a
for
2-year
this?
plan, basically, because you pay for it, and then after 2 years, you get the sign.
Gotcha.
And I think the brothers make a tiny bit off the top, but they're
Yeah.
fairly expensive to have done, and then they go and hang them. And I don't know if it was, maybe it was Rich who was telling me, I think there's a plan for the sponsor sign, like some of them are like, thank you veterans.
Yeah.
And I think there was a plan for them too.
I'm fine with that, I just think we need at least one good sign in the district.
Yeah, oh, I
And
just,
you can, and I think like if you guys are having that guy restore sandblast and restore the other sign, maybe he knows someone that, you know, actually puts those signs together still, right? Cause I don't know, I would think that
yeah, I have the,
Science Plus is just gonna contract that out, they're not doing that.
yeah, I have the firm that we used for the one at the park, the cast one, it just, it was not, you know, I'm just thinking in terms of a budget, you know, so if we're gonna do that many, you know, so you're thinking 2,000, you know, actually, I'd probably say 5,000.
For one,
For one, in terms of labor and
Yeah.
everything all inclusive, then another 3,
another 3 signs.
so I'd probably, you know, we'd probably need to ask them for $10,000 to $15,000 for this project.
But do you think that I don't think the other 2 signs need to be cast aluminum.
No, but I'm thinking, for anything that's not a cheap road sign,
Yeah.
you're easily looking at $1,000 to $2,000 in terms of ordering the sign, getting the, you know, especially
Yeah.
on a fancier pole, probably gonna need to contract the installation, because they're not gonna wanna deal with it if it isn't just slap it on the ground,
Right,
or if it needs, you know, footing or more
Right.
involved work. And the worst possible thing we could do is to do this, run out of money, and have to go back for more,
yeah,
so it'd be
Right.
far
To
better to
plan
invest
for
in
it.
And,
yeah.
um,
Yeah, what is everybody else's feelings on the matter?
So if we have the Arlington type sign, that's the smaller sign. What
Yeah.
is the bigger one?
Well, I think that it would just be like a better quality material, it would be like that cast aluminum, it would be something similar to the other sign that is in front of, what building is that?
that I don't know, you said tercentenary sign, that's in front, that's at Founder's Park as well, closer to the building. Oh, it was Arlington, huh?
Calling it up,
They had them like redone.
do you wanna put
What
it
they
on?
did, is that what that is?
This came out, so this came in that historic mailing list, and I was actually thinking this might be something, because this is a restoration, we could ask, sorry to find it, ask CPA for. Because they can pay for historic preservation
Okay.
of an existing sign.
Mhm.
But this was, I don't know if this has the price on it. So that's about what ours looked like. This was a couple $1,000s. Sorry, it's
For the
for
restoration?
the project, yeah.
Where is our sign, do you have a picture of our current
I
sign?
do on my phone that I can share with you in a little bit.
Okay,
I don't know if I can, let me join the meeting. And this device.
So I would suggest that whatever sign goes on Founder's Park is a heavy-duty sign because traffic accidents will and continue to happen up there. So whatever we get should be able to take a hit.
it
because
should be set,
usually-
maybe set back enough so it doesn't take a bit too, I don't know.
That's true. That's true. And then I think the other ones, I like the Arlington sign. Those are really classy looking.
Yeah.
But, you know, finding one that's gonna get us 50 to 100 years would be great.
This, if this will eventually cooperate, can you see this? There we go. That's the sign in the Founder's Park.
Oh.
It's actually not in horrible shape.
Right,
Actually, Dan, it isn't.
you're gonna spend $2,000 to have that restored?
My thought was, we're coming up on the 250th in the country,
Yeah.
and certain people on the select board are very, very eager to celebrate that, so
Okay.
now's the time to justify something like
Okay,
this.
oh, yeah, sure.
I don't think this one's as much of a priority. I think that one in the island is rough, and I don't know what the state's doing with it, and there's another one somewhere that, we gotta figure where it is. Pete, I remember talking to Pete, he thought there were more.
What year were these put in, the 30s you said?
Yeah, it was the 300th anniversary of Massachusetts maybe or something.
And those are cast aluminum?
These
What are
are,
those?
here, $3,500
1630 to,
they paid to do
1930.
those 2 signs.
the
Um,
the colors lasted since 1930, nobody's retouched that.
That's a lot of lead right there.
Oh my gosh.
The cost was Gloucester completed restoration of all 4 signs. The cost was $3,500.
For 4 signs.
For 4
Oh,
signs.
that's not so bad.
They got another quote for $20,000 for one of
What
them.
company is this?
Some company in Arlington did it.
I wonder if we find the name of the company, maybe they have a vendor that actually still
Yeah,
puts
I have.
signs together like this.
Yeah, let me share this now. Share window.
And like if we're gonna say,
So there's a way worse.
so these ones have text on them, how do you want it to just be like entering Mendon's historic district, like what do you want it to, or say like a blurb, you know?
You mean like all that,
That's like a lot of text.
that's a lot of text.
So it's,
Nobody's ever gonna be able
No,
to read unless
no.
we're walking.
so like I like the idea of like something visible, right?
Yeah.
But
Me too.
still nice material. That will last 5,200 years, right?
Yeah. Trying to find the bill I paid for the playground sign. It's in here somewhere.
You have the after pictures, of these restorations? Oh, very nice.
I mean, so there's one in Memorial Square here, a little one that Mike from Highway did during the 350th. But he just took it, it was little,
Yeah.
I think it just says I think it says Memorial Square,
Mhm.
and he just took it and painted it. But something like this is a lot, and like you said, it's probably lead paint on lead paint.
I don't love the blue background in this either. So
Yeah, well, that was,
I kinda like that ours aren't.
I'm thinking ours was this background-ish. But if you did one for the district, you could do it much smaller. You're not stuck with this
Right.
format at all. These were all, Masters Bay Colony Tercentenary Commission. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just need to I can do some digging and see if I can find something that looks nice and send it along to everybody.
This is just them versus the entire.
But I think like the key is finding the right vendor.
200. I bet our marker's in this PowerPoint.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of really nice historic district signs in
Yeah.
other communities, and they're not large, but they're well done.
Yeah,
And I think we can accomplish it.
yeah,
We just have to decide on a design and run with it.
yeah.
Speaking of budget, Kathy, you had mentioned this in an email. We're interested in purchasing some flags for the houses of something about Revolutionary soldiers. Because that's something we should do before June 30th out of our budget.
Right. So right now, according to the housing stock inventory, we have about 20 houses that where Revolutionary soldiers departed from and participated. Some were Minutemen,
Yeah.
some, yada, yada, yada. So I thought it would be really cool to recognize those historic homes because people don't understand in Mendon, the value of the history of the community, and they don't understand. I think it's a great way to highlight, the age of these buildings and how important a role they played in the Revolutionary War. And the fact that they're still standing is just remarkable. Some of them are not. Some of them are extant. Some of them have been demolished, which is what we like to do.
Do you have like the flag that we want to purchase?
So, I mean, I think it's
Like a
going
lady
to be
flag. Or
Do we
just,
want to do a Betsy Ross antique looking sign? Do we want to do a 250th sign or flag? Do we want to do a 1776 flag? I can send samples to everybody and we can take a look at it and decide at the next meeting. And then I'll price it out. But I think we
yeah,
can plan on
that would be a
spending
good idea. To
about
do.
$25 a piece. And we have to get the property owners have to agree, that they would like to display this flag.
Do you put flags in memorandum of the houses that were
Right?
demolished?
Yeah, we could definitely do that.
Yeah.
We could put a gravestone and just put RIP.
Um,
Oh
Is that-
my God.
that would be a good thing to spend.
Here once stood.
Yes.
And then the other thing, sorry, I'm reading this email, you were talking about the Amadon Tavern, not for the National Register.
Yeah. So
Their
Ann
money
has agreed.
for that?
Yeah, we're gonna have to go to CPA, I think, to do the, I mean, there's so much documentation, and there's so much more that we found, and I mean, we were lucky enough to pull out some old bottles that were down in the basement, and these things are like 1800s bottles, and I mean, so probably all tied into the tavern, experience there. So, n- we're going to try to get it it should be on the National Historic Register. There's no excuse for it not to be. Rest Haven is an only cook. So the fact that the tavern is not is pretty remarkable. So, like I said, I don't think it's going to be extensive.
Come on, didn't we just do this with a property? It wasn't a lot of money, right? We
We
basically,
did it with only cook. It was $5,000 to put the information
Yeah.
together and evaluate it. So we have to have an architectural historian write a report and fill out the forms. But like I said, we've got so much already, in our arsenal of documents that
research and consultation for application to have the only cook listed in the National Register. At the time, it was $5,500.
yep.
Because I don't know if you saw Ann's email, so if we could get a price for that, we should bring that to them right away and get that on their
Yep.
radar.
Yep, no, we definitely will. I'll get a price together.
Whoever did it last time, that's a no-brainer for CPA funds.
Yeah, and I don't know if all the communities, I don't know if the National Historic Register, I know we had to do our own sign for the only cook shop, but if you go to the Taft Tavern in Uxbridge, they have a bronze cast sign on the property, on the house, that explains the significance. Now, I'm sure that would set us back a good chunk of change, but at some point, maybe it's something to think about.
Maybe that's worth, this would be the time, I think, to go to them and ask for 10 to 15 for some historic signage to designate these historic areas and
Oh,
part of
yeah.
that historic district. I'm trying to find a picture of the Taft sign, but that might be
Me too.
all in one package to present to them.
Right.
I think it's a wooden sign.
Yeah, no, but there's a metal one too, maybe it's on the map.
Is it this that's, is that little outbuilding? I know, it's a terrible picture. I'm not even sure if it's the right building.
Oh, maybe. I think maybe that is.
Where is that Taft Tavern?
It's right
That's
at,
in Uxbridge on Sutton Street.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it sits at an angle to the road. You'd probably drive it by 1,000 times and not notice it.
Oh dear.
Who's calling me? It's quicker time.
go back for a second. Oh, yeah. Did you click this?
Yeah, it's just a picture of Facebook. They need to list their thing on, Google Maps, so it's findable. Is it near the dog park?
Yeah, but it's
Right
much
Yeah,
much
yeah.
closer to the center of town.
Where do you think is- No.
Yeah, the dog park is a lot further up.
See, AI is probably wrong, but AI is not terrible. Just copy the text.
AI is not terrible.
This. Can't see it. Looks like somebody's house. That's not it.
It might be in there.
Yeah, whatever. We'll have to. I don't know. Again, I think, we just gotta figure out what we want and come up, but we have to, when we go to this, we have to have a list. If we start
Yeah.
bringing it up, it'll crash and burn, because they'll start asking 1,000 questions, and it's
Right.
all over.
So I mean, I feel pretty confident that that's something we could get together for the next meeting. And,
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah,
say
I
how-
have, I'll see what I
Because I
can
think-
get done tomorrow.
Jason is very passionate about seeing stuff related to 250th. So I think the select board will support it. Because, as long as
It's a good time.
a reasonable request for some of this stuff.
Everyone's
Right.
feeling very,
Um, Try and at least celebrate Mendon.
we need like a reenactment in Mendon.
So that I can, the cultural council, Joanne Lamoth, is working on, I think they set aside money for their own event. They're looking to do some sort of reenactment of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And I don't know if they fully fleshed out. I think she's looking for involvement from
Listen.
the committees.
That sounds fun, but you know what people go to reenactments for?
Yeah, the battles.
The battles. We have
Yeah.
got up at like 4 AM for that Lexington battle, okay?
We had that group do something at the Founders Park for the 350th. I know we did that event. I think her hope was because, Mendon was one of the kind of,
Yes.
the declaration was read into our records to kind of replicate that event, maybe bring on somebody to read it and do all that and kind of celebrate the founding of the country in that way.
Oh, no, for sure. I was just teasing, but
Yeah.
people do come for.
Well, we should maybe think about that event. It was the muster. Right, we had a group.
Yeah, I don't,
Good
who were
muster.
the contacts for that?
I'm sure I have a folder
Did
of
they just do it
that.
in the summertime up at Daniel's homestead? They did a,
Yeah,
Oh, did they?
yes,
muster.
happened to drive past it, I was like,
It's too
what the
late.
what?
So you know
Intense
what, I can reach out to Justine and see if they're gonna do something similar again this year. They might, because it is the 250th. I wonder if they'll do another muster
You
or
need a muster in
reenactment.
Founders Park.
That would be really cool.
In a little tiny park,
I think Dick and John really
a skirmish. is
were
probably
very
the
involved with
best.
that. Dick Grady and John Trainer.
They were awesome. Yeah.
Forget who had the contact with the group. I found the folder. I gotta flip through it. Is this it?
Like a King Philip's War skirmish.
So I think Karen, you recommended that we do a reenactment of George Washington being turned away at the Amadon Tavern.
Oh,
Funny.
that's great.
So that
We've
would
got
have
a
been,
skirmish, we've got George Washington being turned away.
Well, this is
yeah,
Yeah, so John Trainer was the contact with that reenactment group. I'm just skimming through these emails now, and I think he kind of worked out the whole skit and the timeline and how they did it.
yeah,
So
I
John-
can reach out and
John's a
talk
good
to
one
John.
to chat with on that.
Some fights.
We did that, me and Leah she brought a fife and I brought a drum.
Gosh, that's great.
Yeah, that's because I printed off all these Revolutionary War things and just figured we just sight read them and learned it. Very interesting. That stuff is brutal. And those were kids playing that. It's wicked hard.
Really?
Yeah.
My sister figured out the fife, it's so obnoxious.
Those drum parts are insane. Like, and then they're like 14-year-old kids because they couldn't fight and they would be in the.
And then, yeah, that's just.
That's how they.
Yeah.
That's how they communicated. That's the thing. They didn't have radios, didn't have any of that. But
Well,
anyway, so that's.
and then maybe, you know, during the skirmish, it's the unveiling of the new historic district sign.
Nice idea.
Right?
There it is. So then, and then it's just the demolition, I think, is the other thing to talk about. And I think, trying to find the email I sent, pictures. So as best I can tell, that came down sometime, what did I say in my email? Sometime before August 12th, 2025. There are no permits that I can find.
Who owns that?
The church.
Um,
It's a parsonage for the church. I don't know if this will switch images. Let's see. Did it change? Hang on. Sharing. That Bethany Son of God.
Oh, is it right across the street?
No, it's directly next to it. Sorry, hang on, I'm trying to
Next
figure
to
out if I got the right. So this is as you pull into the church, and it's this is the top of it, and then you can see it's gone. This is a view of it. That's the church on the top left. It was like an attached barn, and then that older barn that Kathy was showing was probably like right here where my mouse is, which I assume went years ago.
and they're the only gave one.
Yes.
2003, I think, is when that one came down. But, you know, I don't understand how they could be so short-sighted.
Yeah, I don't really understand. I think, I guess we need to reach out to John Erickson and Jeremy and understand what happened here. I mean, it's one thing to take down a little 10 by 10 shed, but to demolish a potentially 2-story building with no permits whatsoever.
Right.
I don't even know. I mean, I know our bylaw calls for, I believe it's $50 or something a day,
Yeah.
up to 2 years. So,
Maybe it's time to
need to send a letter.
put someone's feet to the fire.
So I think that's probably the next step if we want to push this is to, maybe demand that John Erickson and them attend the meeting and discuss, because I don't really, I don't know what the penalty is in Mendon for not doing work without a permit like that. I know what it is in other towns. I don't really know. Especially,
My concern is some of these nonprofits might be under the impression that they're also not under, the same guidelines and rules for, that apply to the town. And yeah, no, you don't pay taxes, but you are responsible to follow the rules. And, that house was just the last of the Bates Bicknell legend on that street, and it's very disappointing to me that came down without any conversation, no way to record it. I mean, it just
That's the building.
this, yeah,
That whole building?
this I don't know what it was, like a garage.
It's adorable.
yeah,
That
and I
came
think
down.
it was
Right.
2 stories, and I think it might have been like an outbuilding living space.
That's what's there today. This is 4/10/25, so they haven't done this view yet to see it. But
So this whole, wow. Was there, no one knows if there was anything wrong with it? They were just trying to make parking probably.
I don't know, there's no permits on that property, and I think that's the next step is to ask John what, I mean, and John's been good when people have come to him with stuff, he says, oh, you need to talk to historic.
Right.
So I'm thinking they didn't talk to him either.
And I wonder if it's not inappropriate to send a letter to some of these nonprofits and say, especially the ones that own historic buildings, that, you are bound by the same guidelines as everyone else. I mean, I'm worried about, the old gift barn and, thankfully they are good caretakers, but who knows,
Well, I think,
So this came down in August of 25.
at some point, so this was demolished.
For to know.
So I only have dates on those satellite views. So it was existing. It was visible on April 10th, 2025, and it was gone on August 12th, 2025.
So at some point.
At some point in that
last summer,
period, it
probably.
was demolished.
Huh,
Um,
and no one has said anything about it.
not to my knowledge.
So I think,
Wow.
our bylaw outlines a process, so I think, do we just send them a letter and say, here's your $50,000 fine?
Yeah,
Maybe we need a conversation with Jeremy about this, and it would be nice to have some backup.
Is Jeremy?
The town administrator.
Okay, I was gonna say, you might wanna have an attorney.
Well, I think that
look
would
over
involve council.
before-
and then
Okay.
We can spend 5 years waiting for council to respond, but let's say that on the recording.
based on its, kind of the layout, it could have been a boot and shoe shop, because it did have a chimney and, what could have been living space upstairs. So it's just sad,
So per the bylaw, it's a fine of $300 per day until they faithfully restore the building or 2 years has elapsed. So I believe I looked at this before, it was 168 days if you use that August 12th date, which I think is like 50 grand.
And now say you find them and it goes through, where does that money go? Does it go like into like a town?
That's a
Master
conversation that
account?
would have to happen. Technically, it goes to the general fund.
So
and
the commission
it would
couldn't,
have- it would have to be-
couldn't utilize.
It would have to be voted at town meeting to set aside for a purpose, which is I think is a valid discussion, but.
Oh.
I assume this non-criminal disposition has more of how that money is handled. Because that's how. all
And
the
there's
enforcement
no
bylaws.
exemption for nonprofits or anything?
This is our bylaw.
Okay,
So I don't know, I've been told in other towns, if you're caught doing work without a permit, the fee is doubled, and they charge you double. If you build something, they might make you rip it apart to inspect it. In this case, because you tore it down, I don't know.
even,
I'd be curious what you even do about that. Our bylaw says that no permit shall be issued for anything. No permit shall be issued with respect to any premise upon which a historically significant building has been voluntarily demolished in violation for a period of 2 years, unless the permit is directly related to the restoration of the demolished building. And then we can come to an agreement to basically modify that.
I'm assuming they were going the forgiveness rather than permission route, but I think in this case.
Yeah, and like
it
Kathy,
backfired.
Kathy just had no idea, to Kathy's point, they had no idea. So if there's other properties like this, it might be worth identifying them and sending some letters out.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I know someone that knows someone that used to live in that house. And I think they may work for the church, and then there was like a land swap, because they're a water customer.
I feel
I
like
could ask them, I wonder
it's
if they
a
know any of
pretty
that.
hard endeavor to take down a building and get contractors to do that without pulling a permit, because it's like, serious excavation. So I don't know that you're gonna see that much of it,
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious,
because
you'd think any reputable contractor, although demolition is different, but
I don't know.
they have to dispose of all that somewhere.
I think one of the most remarkable features on that building was the 12 over 12 windows, which there is no other building in the town of Mendon that still had those. And to see those go to waste was just very disappointing. So it was a nice timestamp. Yes, I'm very upset. Am I clear?
I can reach out to John and Jeremy, I guess, and find out what our next steps are. I think we would need to involve council if we're gonna attempt to pursue this for sure.
I think that
And I do think,
you guys should pursue it. I think it's just too often this stuff happens.
Yeah.
That people think they can just get away with it. And
I think that's right.
I think, you know, Mendon has a reputation where you can just like do whatever you want, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's probably gonna backfire here.
Yeah. But I mean, it's certainly one of those cases where putting your foot down and saying, we just can't have this, is going to be really important because, I work in Uxbridge. I see all the beautiful old buildings in all of their varying states of disrepair. Yet the community is very good about hanging on to its historic architecture. And it's just night and day to go from Mendon, as things are being stripped down, to Uxbridge, which has a really nice core left. And I just wish there was a way to teach the relevance and the importance of that. And I think, part of doing the flags for the 250th is to point out that, there's some very amazing architecture in this town that we really have to protect, and has historical significance.
Yeah,
so, everything else, yeah,
that's on a main road too, right?
yeah.
That's 140.
Yeah,
I'm surprised, like, I didn't notice that. I never, I'm not typically, I usually go the other way, but.
Dan, I believe if we go back through the records, they were invited to speak as to whether or not they wanted demolition, to be excused from demolition delay, and they never showed up.
Yeah, I don't, that's before my time.
No, you were there. Remember, we had all those houses that,
Oh, were they
people
part of that?
had-
Let me see if they were part of that conversation. Hang on, I know
Yeah.
what you're saying. I was, give me a second, I had the spreadsheet somewhere here.
So I
When
know
was-
that's it.
We did that when we
9
reviewed the
K.
bylaw. Yeah, that's right, they got a letter, they got a letter saying that we were modifying the bylaw, their property was on our register, and here's the process.
Right.
And they didn't come talk to us.
No, the people that live next door did. They definitely came and spoke, but I don't remember them even,
any of-
raising an,
38K came. And,
and 9, right?
and 9K, yeah, the 4 Cape was Slavin, 38 Cape was, I clicked away from it, Patnelli. And then 9 Cape Santos. And their house was like on the verge or whatever, and then were there more?
Yeah.
Cape, 38 Cape again, I think we continued that one. Yeah, so right, they got that same letter,
Right.
and they got it like 3 times because they own like 3 properties over there.
Yeah. All
So-
right.
They can't claim hold out.
Mhm.
I mean. Yeah, what is 11? It's 11 Cape. age. I think that house is pretty old too. 11 Cape Road is 1885.
Yeah, I actually think it's older than that, but we'll
think
stick with that.
I think I went in there and replaced the water meter at some point. Seems familiar.
11 Cape,
11 Cape.
and that's,
It's the house to the, before the church. It's a parsonage of the church now, I believe.
and you think
The
the
school.
barn was built around the same time the house was? Because usually 12/12 windows were before 1885.
Right, which is why I think it's part of the whole Bates Bicknell family lineage, which started back in the late 1700s.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
That
think I
makes sense.
definitely think that's
Well, there was, yeah, here. I
that
think
may have
what-
existed before the actual house was built.
If I have 15, yeah, because there were houses there that had water. Boyer, Bates, does that sound right?
Yep.
That would have probably, I have that down as potentially 11 Cape, because all our old water records are listed as the name of who lived there, because they didn't have houses back then, in the 40s. So then you have a record that just says, you know, El Becchia, so figure out whose property that is. And Mike Burley's been helpful, but it's hard to figure out some of these. Yeah, so I have that one. I think there was a house at 15 as well, and then they built that in the 90s, the school and the church. I think. So,
Yeah, I think it was even on the 1820s map.
where I'm looking for those. So, early mid. This is too small to probably view here. Click here to see a higher resolution. This is 1830. Jotham Haywood, Nathan Haywood, and then this
Moses.
Bates. Um,
Yeah, I don't see it. North Parish. Sorry, that's my dog, by the way. She's driving me crazy.
It's been so cold out and they're cooped up.
Oh, they're off the wall. It's like, oh my God, you guys. And you send them out and they're just shivering and okay, really, guys?
And they're thinking, how could you? Oh,
I know.
Do we want
Miserable
to
woman, you.
pick a date? Because I think
Yeah.
we'll need to invite people to come to a meeting if we want to talk about this mess. Like sometime in February.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, days. February 16th is President's Day, let's see. Oh, is this the weekend of February break vacation?
Probably vacation that week, right?
Oh, right. you wanna do the weekend of the 23rd to the 27th? Is that too late, or do you guys wanna do it earlier? Do you think it's important to try and pull people in to talk to them?
I mean, I think either one is fine, I don't know how, I see what we get from Jeremy and John, I don't know. We wanna try and meet as early as, the week of the 9th.
Sure.
I can only do
Yeah.
the Monday or the Thursday.
So the 9th or the 12th?
Yeah,
Right,
Mm,
there is an assessors meeting on the 9th, so at 5:30. Well, if we're here at 7, that'll be gone.
So
that's
do
fine
we
with,
want to 12th?
I'm fine with either or.
Either one works for me, so
What did you say, there's an assessor meeting?
it says that at 5:30, but
Yeah. I'd rather do Monday.
can you do the 9th, Kathy?
Oh, yeah, yep.
We try, because I think that was better, I forget what Christina's worked on it, that might, I felt earlier in the week was the reason we were doing that.
Yeah.
But if that date tentatively works, let's,
Let's go away.
but somebody needs to reach out like by Wednesday the 4th and remind me to post the damn meeting. That would be very helpful.
I don't even know where the template is, I'm sorry.
It's fine, it's just there's too many.
Alright, I'm gonna
Too many other things
set
going
a
on.
reminder to myself
It's too easy to forget about them.
on the 4th.
Yeah, because I need to post it by Thursday
Alright.
for the following week. Because weekends, Saturdays don't count anymore, Saturdays and Sundays.
To
So you
post
can't post Friday for Monday.
agenda. Let me do an alert for myself.
Because I don't remember.
Second alert. Sometimes I get alerts and then I just
And then we'll be
don't see them.
jumping into all our hiring by that point.
Jumping into what?
Like all our interviews and everything for the summer.
Oh, Violet wants to apply now too. She's like, it's killing me.
I think it's fun.
I'm losing my built-in babysitters.
that's
I'm
not
just
good.
sending Sadie to camp just because the girls are all gonna be working there.
That's not a bad idea. Rough.
Alright, so I think, is that everything?
I don't know.
So then, I guess a motion to adjourn both things.
I make motion to adjourn historic district. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and-
historic commission at 8:29.
Who's in favor? I say,
Aye.
Aye.
I never really know what to say, this is horrible.
I'm stopping.
Wait,